Hello, this is Susan Poss, and I'm doing another quick video on factoring in Chapter 6. This is Section 6.2. I'm going to break it down into a couple of shorter videos. The first type of trinomial that we're going to work on is the trinomial that has a lead coefficient of 1. And it's important that you get the order correct, and you'll notice here you want the highest degree term in the lead position, and then you want to stack down in descending degree, and then you want any constant to sit in the third position in the trinomial. So what we're going to be doing is taking these trinomials and breaking them down into two binomials if they can be factored. So here's the process that you want to go through. Here's our first example, x squared plus 6x plus 8. One way to think through this, and you'll get to the point that you won't need to do this, is you're going to just look at that last number that's in the position of C, and you're going to sift through in your mind all of the combinations that will factor to give you the positive 8 on the end. So as I look at these, I'm thinking, well, I could do a positive 1 and a positive 8. I could do a positive 2 and a positive 4, but you don't want to forget you could also do a negative 8 and a negative 1 and a negative 2 and a negative 4. Each of those combinations would still give you this positive 8 here at the top of the chart. Now at the same time, you're not only looking for two numbers that will multiply to give you positive 8, you also want them to add up to give you this positive 6 in the center. And there's only one combination that will do that. So when the lead coefficient is 1, you go to your double parentheses, you take the x squared and you put 1x in each binomial parentheses, and then you put the numbers that you found in your chart in those remaining positions. And that's your answer. You have now taken this trinomial and you factored it. Now quickly I'm going to check it. And you check it by using FOIL. So first times first is x squared. Outside is plus 4x. Inside is plus 2x. And last times last is positive 8. So each of these, when you factor it, you should be able to run back through with a FOIL process and get right back where you started. So there's your factored answer. Let's scroll down here and do another. Let's see, did I want a different? Let's do this one. I guess, yes, this was good because it had the negative in the center. All right, so again, you're looking to factor this trinomial. And I didn't say this earlier, but you should always look to see if there's a GCF. So ask yourself that question first. These first ones don't have a greatest common factor. So then you'll go into your technique. I'm going to put a little table out here. I'm going to put a positive 11 at the top of the table, and I'm going to try and think of all the ways I can factor and get positive 11. I can make them both positive. I can make them both negative. That would still multiply to give me positive 11. And again, at the same time, you're looking for a combination that will generate a negative 12 when you add them together. That looks like the correct combination to me. So this time we have the letter Y. You'll put that in each of your parentheses, and then a minus 1 in this first position and a minus 11 in the second position. And students always ask me, what if I write it in the reverse order? That is fine to write it in the reverse order. Just keep all the signs correctly attached to the correct number. So what do you do if this is not in standard form with the second degree appearing first? Well, you're going to have to rearrange it. So the first thing I want to do here is rearrange. So I'm going to lead off with the n squared. I want the n to the first degree in the middle. And then I want the constant on the end. So now that I have in the proper order, I can go off to the side and look at the combinations that will give me positive 17. And they're either both positive or both negative. And it looks to me that this time the correct combination is there. So you split up the n squared so that one n is in each set of parentheses, and then the plus 1 and the plus 17. Same thing here, you want to rearrange. Q squared first, 6q in the center, minus 27 on the end to get it in that ax squared plus bx plus c. Put this negative 27 up at the top and start to think of all the numbers. 2 doesn't work, 3 times 9, 4 doesn't work, 5 doesn't work, 6 doesn't work, 7 doesn't work, 8 doesn't work, and then when you start to turn around and go back in reverse order, you know you've exhausted the list. So let's see, double parentheses, Q in the first, Q in the second. Let's see, I didn't get my signs determined, did I? I want a positive 6 and a negative 27. Oh, this is the first one we've done like this. So when you have a negative up here at the top of the chart, that tells me that the two signs are going to be opposite. Because when I multiply them together, they have to give me a negative result. So the question is, I think you can see maybe the 3 and the 9 are the ones. Do I want a positive 3 and a negative 9, or do I want a negative 3 and a positive 9? And the reason I'm going to choose this negative 3 and positive 9 is because I want a positive 6 here in the middle. So you can see if you multiply those two, you get negative 27. If you add those two, you get positive 6. So let me go in here and put a minus 3 in one and a plus 9 in the other. All right, so here's the summary here. If C is positive, C meaning this last number out here, the number I was putting at the top of the chart, both factors have the same sign. If C is negative, like that last one we just did with that negative 27, one factor must be positive and the other must be negative. So you can practice with those. Yep, that's where I wanted to stop before we move on to the next type of problem. So again, factoring trinomials where the lead coefficient is 1 and there is no greatest common factor.